Put your picture on my mirror. Start to blush when somebody says your name. And my stomach is a pain. See you walk in my direction, I go the other way. I start to stutter when I speak. Try to stand, but my knees go weak. What's happening to me? Anybody can you tell me what it means? I lay my head on my pillow. He got me staring out the window. Wish on a star for a sign. That's the reason why. Yeah.
Always on my mind.
Oh,
When you come around, I get shy when I see
hey, see you.
when I see you.
Hey, Marlon, you sexy boy.
Never know.
Oh, say what? That's right, baby. Bring it to the front. Hey, Janine. Well, guess what?
Man, what is going on, everybody? What is going on? You know what it is. It's Wade's word of the day, day. I need everybody to show some love on this Wednesday evening. Do me a favor, go ahead and share this out on all of your socials and all of that particular things. If you're coming in on the YouTube side, make sure that you like the post. Get out of the chat real quick. Go ahead and like the post and all of that good stuff. Then come on back into the chat. Everybody just drop in the chat real quick. Let's get it going. Let's go. Let's go. If you can do that for me real quick. Be on the Facebook side. Yeah, share this out to everybody you know. And there's a simple way that you can do it now. You can just hit the @ sign and it'll just pop up your followers and hit send. And it'll send it out to everybody you know. So you no longer have to put everybody's name in individually and all of that good stuff. So why don't you try that tonight as well? Another good feature they have is highlights. So you can put @ and the highlight button will pop up as well. And you can do the exact same thing and all of that good stuff. So why don't you do that real quick? Make sure that you're partnering with us because, hey, listen, we can't do anything without you. Yeah, this is support sponsored. So without your support, we can't really do what we need to be doing in this space. And so certainly we are looking for you to support us on tonight. You can do that just by putting some on it. Yeah, put some on in the various ways that you can put on it. Put some on it is right there on the ticker at the bottom. So go ahead. I know we're coming into, the spending season, if you will. And if you have a few coins left over from Black Friday, go ahead and put a few of them coins on tonight. Facebook 300 stars, that's simply $3. If you're on the YouTube side, go ahead and put that on the Cash App, $3 tonight as well. And we would certainly appreciate it. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope that you're feeling well on this Wellness Wednesday. Yeah, all of that good stuff. Go ahead in the chat. Yeah, just put something on it real quick. So y'all know what it is. It's Wellness Wednesday. Let's go ahead and get it cracking. Man, I'm excited to be hanging out with my co-host on Wellness Wednesday. We took a couple weeks off and everything as we all celebrated, the holiday and all of that good stuff. But we're back, and hey, we're coming in hot.
Wake 'em up. See him still sleeping, so I had to shake 'em up. I kept it too real. I wasn't faking up. My real life was a headline. Your real life got a deadline. My timeline was a hashtag. Your timeline just a hate crime. Coming in hot, feeling like Pac. Back in 94 when he took 5 shots. Too much drive to ride your wave. Ditch my top and I'm off that lot. Black on black on black on black on black on black on black. You don't have to ball a rap to get them racks on racks. Uber poolers trying to catch my vibe and find my way. Yeah, I know I'm ratchet, but I'm really safe. Hot sauce dripping.
I'm ratchet,
Yeah,
but I'm
coming
really
in hot.
safe.
Y'all make my co-host feel welcome on this evening. Leanna Winstead, everybody show her some love.
What's going on, good people? How are
Go ahead
you?
and-
How are you?
yeah, you know the deal. Go ahead and share some love tonight. Talk to the people. Give them what you want to talk to them about. Good 30 seconds of power, maybe some breathing.
Happy
and all of that stuff.
November. Okay. Happy November. It went by in a flash. It just feels like it just turned November 1st just the other day, but here we are at the end of it. I hope everybody is well, and I don't know. I wasn't ready for breathing, so I always tell everybody anyway. It's good just random throughout the day. Take two slow deep breaths. That'll bring us in alignment, and we're gonna have a good conversation tonight. So thank you for having me. Let's go.
Absolutely. So what have you been up to? I know we took a couple weeks off. Uh, so how's everything going? How was your holiday and all of that good stuff? That's all a part of wellness, you know? Um,
Yes,
talk to us.
it absolutely is. My holiday was so peaceful and so calm. I decided not to fight on I-95, so that was good. Uh, and it's super peaceful here at the house. It's just me and Molly. But we have, um, he asked me not to be sharing all of that. But anyway, I'm going to share because it's a blessing. He'll forgive me. But we got surgical evaluation coming. So we're making some strides here, and we're coming up on the 2 year anniversary of them doing what they had to do in that time and being cancer free and all of that other good stuff. So I am excited, and I think that God is just good. He's just good. So I just want to share some of that. So be encouraged, everybody.
Say what?
Yeah, he is definitely good. I I feel you in terms of that driving and all of that stuff. We actually were uh, scheduled for 2 trips. We had planned one to go visit with the parents and everything in Ohio, which we made that trip, and then we were going to
Oh my God.
go visit my sister in Tennessee as well over the Thanksgiving holiday. But just that bad weather and all of that stuff, and kind of got out there on the road 2 hours in, and I was like, this is not going to happen. Um, just a challenge to
Yeah,
drive in that particular weather. So we actually turned around and we took ourselves to Mohegan and for the weekend for those few days, and we discovered
that's right.
all of the wonderful things that is there for the kids and everything, and we just had a glorious and marvelous time. We tested uh, the various restaurants and everything, so we didn't have turkey and all of that particular
Uh-oh, it's
stuff.
frozen. Is that me?
We had steak and fish and all of that good stuff, and we had a wonderful time, and
That's right.
the kids had a wonderful time. Um, who would have known? It was all of those other things that you could do,
Right.
out there for the kids.
And
Besides,
have a good time at it and still create beautiful memories.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we had a wonderful holiday and all of that good stuff, and it was great. It was great. It was great. It was great. And then
That's what's
also had
up.
some time
I'm
to
glad.
breathe and to think and to do all of those wonderful things over the last couple weeks, because I didn't have to,
Yeah,
you know, do some of the other things. And so it was just
right.
wonderful and
Free up some
marvelous.
time and some space.
Yeah, yeah, it was wonderful and marvelous. Come on, I need everybody to tag, text, and tell somebody, tell them to come into the space tonight. We got a wonderful conversation that we're going to get into. And listen, you're going to be able to pop in on the back end if you want to join in with the conversation as well. So go ahead and do that. You still got time to share on all of your socials and all of those particular things. So go ahead and do that as well. I'm doing that as we speak too, because that's just what I do. You know, that's just what I do. Because I want people to hear, kind of what I'm talking about in this season, in this moment. So you ought to do it as well. Make sure that you're liking and loving all of the posts and those particular things. And so go ahead and share that out.
I still have not been on social media. I have
Yeah,
to go back and like everything because I have not been on social media.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, we had that conversation before, so I try to be where the people are, and
Yeah.
where the people are on social media. I get at the
I
very,
mean,
I get the various reasons why people don't. You know what I mean? But this is my business. You know what I mean? So I got to be where the people at. And
I
and
could dig it.
and this where the
God
people
bless
at.
you in
You
all of your
understand what I'm saying?
endeavors.
This is where the people at. And so,
That's
you
what I
know,
had heard.
you know what I
That's what I
mean?
heard.
You know, and if the goal is to get the word out and all of that stuff, you got to go where the people at. I mean, that's just what it is.
You got to be where the
You know,
folks
there's
is.
some harsh realities. There were some people many eons ago when the car came on the scene. They was like, "Why do we need that? The horses was just fine."
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then there was some folk, you know, when the cell phone
That's
came
exactly
on the
what they
scene,
said.
the big cell phone in the car, that was the first one that had a pouch you
Yep.
carried in the house. And folks was like, why do we need that? We got the rotary phone. And then a whole lot of folk who were walking into the Blockbuster store was like, why do we need Netflix? Blockbuster has been working
For
out just
sure.
fine. So you know, life changes, things change, methods change, and so I just try to, roll because I'm clear. You know, methods change and all of that good stuff. Try to be true to my principles, but methods I'm open. You know, to all different types of things, and if the goal is to
Amen.
communicate and get the word out, that's what I'm doing. And so tonight I want to talk about this. I actually been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, and so I'm largely on the podcast for the next few weeks. I'm gonna be talking about communication and communicating, and so I figured it would be good to even bring it into the wellness space because most of our disagreements and all of these particular things happen because our failure to communicate, our failure to understand one another, our failure uh, to communicate effectively with one another. And so I figured, hey, it would be, good to even bring that into the wellness space. You good with that?
For sure.
All right, all right, all right, all right. You froze up
I
a
don't know
little
if
bit
it's
on me. I don't
I'm
know why.
freezing or is it you freezing?
No, you're
Okay.
you're freezing. You froze up on me a little bit,
There.
but it's all good. So
Okay.
let's go here first. So this is kind of where I started that conversation with this thought. Let's go here. Yeah, Wade's word of the day. So hey, tonight I want us to think about this question. Why can't we talk about it? Why can't we talk about it? So my sister, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about that question? Why can't we talk about it? Why can't we talk about it? What's the first thing that comes to your
Some
mind
things
when you think about
are just so simple. Yeah. For me, are you asking me? I can't
it?
hear
Yeah. I'm asking the question. So that's the thought. That's
So,
kind of where we want to go tonight. Why can't we talk about it, right? And so I'm asking you, when you just heard that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about why can't we talk about
like it just resonated with me really hard. Like I felt that because I asked myself that question so many times. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we? Some things are so simple if we just talk, listen, hear, communicate. And so many things have been fractured because we're unable to communicate for so many reasons, for whatever reason.
it? No, I agree. I agree. Let's listen a little bit more. Let's listen a little bit more and kind of go from there. Why can't we talk about it? One of the things, over this break, I had some opportunity to ponder, to think, to read, In these moments, typically, I really get really silent for the folk who know me, because I'm thinking through things. I'm thinking about where I am in this current moment. So my, uh, hiatus, if you will, it gives me an opportunity to do that heart work that I talk about all the time, to uh, reflect, to ponder, to think through, and even to challenge myself as I, as I begin to proceed towards the end of the year and all of that good stuff. And so one of the things I was thinking about uh, was simply that. Why can't we talk about it? Why can't we talk about it? I don't know about you, uh, but I'm sure you've heard people, when you need to have certain conversations, but because folks don't want to have those conversations, the first thing that they say is, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, let's go there, right? When I don't know about your experience, but oftentimes I find when those conversations need to be had, oftentimes people don't want to have them. And oftentimes what they end up saying is, I don't want to talk about it. Now, I understand there's various reasons around that. I'll give mine in just a second, but why do you think that's the case? Why do we find it hard to have hard conversations, authentic conversations, if you will? And oftentimes when we need to have those conversations, it's hard to have them because people just don't want to have the conversations. Don't want to, um, whether it's being truthful, whether it's being honest with one another. Um, we just would prefer to have these kind of light conversations, these kind of feel good conversations, but never the type of conversations that challenge all of us to grow and to learn and to evolve. What's your thoughts on that? I got a delay with you. Are you with me? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I do too. Okay. So I think I heard everything you said. I think my answer differs a little bit. I think it's not that they won't have a conversation. I think some people, I think most of us just don't even understand. If there's a lack of emotional maturity at any age, some people don't think that they can even be emotionally immature at good big ages. So I think the maturity comes into it first. And people don't realize that all those things are connected. And there's different types of communication styles, but some people only stop at what they hear. They just don't take the time to really listen. And another thing is, I think we're conditioned too because of everything that we see and we hear all the time. So I don't even think it's any more of a they won't. I think a lot of people may have even forgotten how, but it's the emotional maturity. And understanding and recognizing that everybody's not in the same place. Yeah, we understand that. That's cool. But I think it goes even deeper than that. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion.
No. I appreciate your perspective, even though I don't agree with it. I think I think that I feel like you're giving people an out, right? Because that's my point. I think we tend to want to, even in terms of maybe having hard conversations, to try to find a way to be positive through those conversations. But I agree that some people don't know how to. I agree in terms of maturity. I agree with all of that. But I also think that some people just don't want to have those conversations. That's not that's they
Yeah,
just don't
because
want to
they
have
don't know
those
how to
conversations.
handle it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Because they
Yeah.
don't know how to handle
Yeah.
it. It's super immature. And just would like to it's just, again, there's different types of communication styles, but most people don't even recognize that part of it. You know what I mean? And words have power, and I am a firm believer that I think we minimize our words and the impact, and then everything gets lost in the meaning too. So yeah, that's just me. I'm sorry.
I was listening. I was
That's just how
listening
I
to
see it.
something
But
today.
I'm heavy on communication.
Yeah. I was listening to a TED talk today, and this particular individual was talking about communication. And one of the things that stuck out to me, and it really resonated with me, and I don't know if it will resonate with you as well. And she started off her talk like this. She said, "I'm sure many of you have heard people say, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And then she went on to say,
Absolutely.
that's not true. All of those people are lying. What really matters is what you say. I'm gonna just drop that right
No.
there.
Oh yeah, you talking way.
Are you understand? Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
I
was just
do.
kind of like, even as I'm listening to her, that just kind of, you know, mic drop moment, because oftentimes, as we're talking about communicating and people not wanting to have the conversation, oftentimes why you hear that people get defensive, that they avoid talking, that they walk out in anger, that they try to change the subject, that they try to push it back on you, that they uh, that they're not listening, that they're not hearing, or that they're not, how do I want to say it, communicating to listen, but only to respond, is based on that. And a lot of times it's not what you said, but it's how you said it.
Exactly.
And
It's how you say it.
sometimes, and like right now in this moment, I don't think that we are in disagreement, but I made that earlier point when I said to you, I get it, but no, I think people do try to avoid it. Now, for a lot of people in that moment, they would come back and say, it's not what you said, but it's how you said it. You understand what I'm saying? And so for me, that feels
Yes.
like and I thought about it, a lot of people do that. You could be in the most calmest voice. I mean, a calm voice. You're not raising your voice. You're not coming across with attitude, but you're just speaking a truth that people are not ready to receive because they're not willing to listen and to hear.
Yes.
And then they'll be quick to say, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because they don't want to have the conversation.
Yes. I
And
agree.
so, right.
Right.
So what's I mean, I don't know if that
I
landed
do
on you like it
agree.
landed on me
But
in
there's
that
still
moment,
a
but
no. I mean, it did because I understand what you're saying, but I'm a firm believer then it's how you say it. You can say one thing a ton of different ways, but also when we release the fact that whether they pick it up or put it down at that point, because my motto is take what you need, leave what you don't. You know, you don't have to be aggressive because that's a communication style. Some people are passive. So we understand that there's this group over here that just doesn't want to, but there's a why. And so whatever you say or however you come at them, that's how they perceive it, so they can run to, that's just to protect themselves or whatever. That's what they will say.
okay,
But
we
that's
going we
just
going
their style. They heard you.
we going to get deep tonight. I still think you giving folks an out. I still feel like you trying to find a
I
way
don't think so.
to I feel like you trying to
You know what
find
it
a
is?
way. I'm not see again.
See, I just don't.
I'm not coming, I'm not, again,
Oh, I'm good.
the
I'm
goal,
listening to you.
no, the goal is the goal. So for me, when I hear what you're saying, I do agree to a certain extent. But I think that many of our major issues, specifically among people who look like us, is not because they don't understand. It's not because they don't perceive. It's not
Right.
because of situations and circumstances. It's simply because they don't want to confront the contradictions. And so when they're challenged to have a conversation that moves beyond, especially church folk, that move beyond the amen, brother, amen, sister, that
especially
move
church folks.
beyond the I'm praying for you, that moves beyond the
Yeah,
fake notion of I love you. Oftentimes, those conversations either lead to where people walk out in anger, withdraw in silence, avoid talking, become defensive, and quite often use what she just said. What she is not how you is not what you said, it's how you said it. And you could be saying it in a loving fashion. You could just be giving the truth of a thing. And because people don't want to have, and that could be as a result of not wanting to take accountability. That could be not understanding, how to effectively communicate. But oftentimes, it's simply because folks don't want to have folks don't want to have authentic conversations. They want to have that light stuff and not really drill down and not really kind of get to know one another, because it's easier to kind of be, that type of thing. And
it's much
so,
easier.
yeah, I think we agree on that, right? It's much easier to operate in
I
facade than to
absolutely do.
operate in truth.
I think what happened was, right. So I do think that that's because it's become so easy. That I think I would liken to the point where I said we're conditioned, because that's all we see. People have gotten so far away from tapping in. Like you said, I think, we're saying the same thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I still think that there's a different layer to it. But even in that, if they don't get it, I just feel like I'm going to say it one time, because I feel like I have an assertive communication style. I'm going to say it to you. I'm going to keep it a bean. But then I have a boundary too. So whether you want to hear it or not, but that goes into a whole nother alleyway. But that's my communication style. I would create a boundary, and I'm learning to enforce them. And I think those are good. And we don't even realize that we have the ability or the right to do that. But again, I think if we teach people, they'll get it, they'll hear you.
So when you say, so I want you to flesh that out a little bit more for me. When you say that you're creating a boundary based on your level of directness. See, when I hear that, when I hear that, what I heard was, and again, we hear things differently, so that's why I'm trying to ask clarifying questions. Because what I heard was, I'm going to say what I have to say, but then I'm going to create a boundary to protect me from what you may say. And I don't know if that's correct, but that's
No.
what I heard when I heard you say, I'm very direct. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but then I'm also cultivating boundaries, because typically when we think about boundaries, we think about creating space. Is that, am I on the right? I'm trying to get clarity. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but I'm just trying to get a deeper understanding of what you just said.
So my analogy for boundary is more so like, not for space, it's just that, not for just random space. This is my space. So this is my property line. This is my fence. And I think we all should have them. We live in individual homes. We should have individual boundaries. Not that I don't want to hear what you have to say, because you have to be respectful in conversation. And I think I really am. Like I am the apologizer. I'm the one that'll come and want to listen. But I think I frustrate people, according to my mother. I frustrate people in the conversation because I'm the one that wants to know well, why? I always want to get to the bare bones of it so we can figure it out. But, so that's that part. And then I think I traveled off into the tulip and forgot the other part, but it'll come back to me though. So see, I think
Right.
I'm more passive sometimes. I think I'm more passive sometimes because you respect other people's feelings. So, and I think direct and assertive are two different things. But again, if people understand, and they can go and Google it, they can probably find it on Google. But there's different types of communication styles. So if you feel like you want to figure it out, so you can stop figuring out why at the end of each conversation and it turned crazy, you at the bottom of it, you really got to tap in. I do believe that tapping in here first. I know you oppose that. In order for someone to be a part of community, I think they got to be right. So they got to tap in first before they can go out. So you know what I mean? And we should always be evaluating, reevaluating, moving furniture, dusting ourselves.
So I don't know what I don't know
Did I
what
go
I
off on
what I,
a tangent, Rev?
no, that was good. I don't know what I oppose though, because you said you know that I oppose that, and what you just said, I don't know if I oppose that. You know what I mean? Just in terms of when you said tapping
Yeah.
into the heart, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like tapping into you. And I think one time we were talking, I forget what it was we were talking about. And you were like, no, you can't, see folks talking about themselves first, like the I, and you got to reach out for there's no I in team. I think that's where I'm getting that from. So that's the part that stuck.
No. I think I let me say it. No, I agree with. I think I agree with you. So I'm not saying that folks should not look inward. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that folks should not, because I think that's critically important, because you can't move outwardly until you clear about what's happening inwardly. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't think that the goal ultimately is about individualism. And that's where I think that people,
Right.
where I see the disconnect, because oftentimes in all of our ways, we're thinking about me, myself, and I. And I don't believe this is what God has created us to do, to just simply be thinking about me, myself, and I. This is, I think that the world is in the state that is in now because over the last 15 or 20 years, what is being pushed on people is think about me, myself, and I, and not think about anybody else. And so when we only think about me, myself, and I, the reality is that has a great impact on community. It has a great impact on relationships. It has a great impact on neighborhoods. It has a great impact on policies. It has a great impact on economics. And so when we start to hear even now today, people, this kind of entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm not against that or anything like that, but the reality is when we think about entrepreneurship in the myth of Black buying power does not necessarily help Black folks. It helps a Black person. You understand what I'm saying? And so, in other words, when I'm saying buy Black, ultimately that only helps one Black person, because the reality is, and we're seeing that even more evident today, if that Black person in this whole fashion of support this particular thing, but you just become now a Black face of whiteness. In other words, what I mean, you just begin to operate like the white oppressor, because oftentimes when we deal in that space, many times they say, oh no, help this so that I can help the community, when in fact they never do. They get fat, their pockets get fat, and they move out of the community. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that people shouldn't be trying to get their coins, but this notion of you getting your coins helps all of us. I say that's not true. That helps you. It don't necessarily help all of us. You understand what I'm saying? No more than Obama getting in the White House help the majority of Black people, other than some type of symbolic type of thing. You know what I mean? But my life certainly didn't change. Your life certainly didn't change. And other Black folks' lives didn't certainly change. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and that's all around, to me, individualism. And so so when I'm talking about that, I'm saying, no, you got to, you got to make sure that you straight before you can help somebody else. But if you spending all of your time just trying to make sure that you're straight with no connection to others,
Yeah.
then it's like climbing a mountain only to get to the top and understand that you have nobody there to help you celebrate your victory. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And that's what we've been pitching. You, only to get to the mountain and discover, man, I ain't got nobody here to help me celebrate my victories or help me celebrate my accomplishments, so forth and so on. So I kind of went off on a tangent too, but that's the larger point when I think about that. So I'm certainly not saying, you need to always be looking out for others at the bequest of yourself. No, I'm not saying that because the opposite effect can happen, right? You're always looking out for others, and then you do yourself a disservice. And oftentimes when you do that, people will end up doing you a disservice, right?
Yeah.
So I said
Eventually.
a lot.
What
But I
kind of
said a lot. But
communication style do you think you have?
so I think
What type of communication style do you think you have?
so. I think my style has evolved over time, but I think what I try to do is operate in directness with the level of my truth. And so what I mean by that is, if I can explain it like this, do you really want to hear what I have to say? Because what I have to say may not be what you want to hear. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's how I think about my style. I'm going to say what I have to say. The question is, can you handle what I have to say? And if you can't handle what I have to say and you just want to kind of turn it into a debate, then I don't need to say anything. Does that make sense?
Now
Do you
that
understand what I'm saying?
sounds like, yeah, now that sounds like what you said earlier. That sounds like, well, you gonna listen to what I got to say, and that's all I
No,
got to
no,
say
no,
about it.
no,
That's
no,
what it sounded
no,
like from you just now.
no, 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 no. Let me say it again. If say we
Mhm.
want to get into conversation and you say, Wade, I got something going on and this is where I'm at. Can we talk about it? And then I come back to you and say, certainly we can talk about it, as long as you understand that what I have to say may not be what you want to hear. And then you say, okay, I'm cool with that.
So I'm not just gonna be your yes man.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. It may not be what
I got
you
you.
want to hear. And so so is that cool? Is that cool with you? You follow what I'm saying? It may be what you want to hear, but it may not be what you want to hear.
Right.
And too often people just want you to respond with what they want you to hear. This is why I don't even like marriage counseling anymore, because all people want you to do is be a referee, come in and agree with them,
That's it.
and Wade tell him, Wade tell her.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They don't really want to hear what you
Yeah.
what you have to say. It's kind of like doing a funeral, right? It's kind of like doing a funeral for me, right?
Yeah.
In some instances, people want you to bring somebody into the building who never in their whole life ever been in the building, and then they want you to communicate something that you know to be not true. That person ain't going. I mean, that person is going to heaven, when you know that person never, at least from your experience, right? Again, from your experience. So I can't say whether that person knew the Lord or anything like that. But if I don't know
change that.
them, you understand what I'm saying? But that's what people
Yeah,
expect to be
absolutely. But
communicated.
I do think that we have the power to change all of that.
Right.
Yeah. But I think
But
we have to learn to communicate with our community and search out the ones that don't know so that we can teach them because a lot of them don't know. We really need that back. We're so far turned around that, you know, I think we need that more than anything right now. Learn how to
but that's
communicate with them, figure out a way to bridge this gap.
that's the point of this conversation. When go back to the start of this, right? Why can't we talk about it? Because oftentimes we can't talk about that, right? Because there is
Right.
a expectation in a lot of spaces that this is what is expected to be communicated, even though I shouldn't be communicating this. And then if you try to say, no, I don't want to communicate that, right? And that goes back to my point. Do you want to hear?
Yeah.
Authentic communication comes from these three things as I see it. And I think you touched on it earlier, right? One, listening to hear. Listening to hear. Listening to hear. I want to be able to hear what you're saying. And I do that. I kind of did some examples today by saying, clarify your point, right? What do you mean by that? What are you saying? Because I want to be clear that I'm hearing what you are actually saying and not just listening to respond. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Not just listening to respond.
Yes, sir.
And then to your point about these very nuances and these very various perceptions and all of that stuff, not only am I listening to hear, listening to be clear, but then I'm also listening for the heart. And what do I mean by that? I talked about it on Monday night. I'm listening for the heart because sometimes people don't have the words. But if I'm listening for the heart,
Sir.
you understand what I'm saying? If I'm listening for the heart, then even in terms of how they say it, won't cause me to disengage, won't cause me to run away in anger because I'm listening for the heart, because that person may not have the words. So sometimes somebody
Yeah.
who cusses a lot is simply because they don't have the words. These are the only words that they have in this current moment to be able to communicate. It's not necessarily mean
Sorry.
that they're trying to be aggressive. These are the only words that they have. And so what I'm trying to do is listen for the heart of the matter. Yeah, you dig what I'm saying?
I got you.
You dig what
I
I'm saying?
do. And that's what I was saying. I was saying how, and you said what. I think
Mm.
that's where it got mixed up. Watch when you watch it back, you're going to be like, oh, she did say how. And you had said what. And you just said how, I think. But yes, I agree.
Maybe look,
110%.
maybe I did that.
But
Maybe I have to listen. Maybe I have to listen back. But yeah, no. I think earlier what I was saying was you were just trying to find an out for people. You know what I mean? You want to present
that's what
for
you said.
people, so that they can take it,
I
that they
don't
can
think so.
receive it and not cringe because they don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about certain things.
Again, and you know what? That is so, like, now that we've gotten to this part of the conversation, it's like a connected dot moment. You're absolutely right. And that's a lot of the reason why I don't, like stepping out there most often is because not wanting to talk about it, because everything is a feeling. And I'm a worshiper, so everything I do is feeling and emoting and a swoon and everything. So that makes perfect sense. Whatever.
I
Yeah,
mean, you
brought it
you've
on home. Okay,
said that to
I
me
got you.
before in different conversations. You was like, you would say to me, "Oh, but I know we can't talk about it in this space," and I'll come back to you and I'll be like, "No, in this space you can talk about it." Or you'll say to me, you've said to me sometimes even in our walk
Yeah.
through wellness and everything. Oh, well, but some people it's hard to say certain things to certain people because of how they're going to perceive it or see it. And so again, I'm asking the question, why can't we talk?
Yeah.
You know, why can't we
Why can't we talk about it? For
yeah,
sure. Why
yeah,
can't someone show up in their authenticity and you not be offended because they stepped in a room?
yeah.
And so we miss the whole point of the conversation because we are in offense. Okay, look at me learning and connecting the
Yeah,
dots.
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Or yeah, exactly. So, because and I know I probably offended some people. I've said this before. I've said this before, which is the truth. I've said this before. I said, listen, most of the people who have entered into our space, they have not entered into our space through Sundays with LHBC. They've entered in the newer people. They've entered into our space by coming through Wade's Word of the Day. Now that's the truth. And I can look at the numbers to prove.
Yeah.
You know, I can look at the numbers to prove it. But oftentimes people can't handle that. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that to give a recognition of an understanding of how we have arrived here, right? How we have arrived there. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you can't deny as it relates to the numbers. That is not an offense to you, but that's simply the truth of the matter is. And so if we're going to grow, we got to embrace that. Or at least that's how I see it. You follow what I'm saying? We got to embrace that. And so how do we expand on understanding that audience and how that's evolving versus doing the latter? You understand what I'm saying? By kind of want to deny that truth. That's the truth. You know what I mean? Or whatever, we have expanded and grown based on what we're doing now versus what we used to do. That's the truth.
For sure.
Now we can try to deny that because we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to act like that's the real. And so oftentimes, why can't we talk about it? Why can't we say, hey, this is where we are. That ain't where we are. So like when I hear people, say, hey, why are you in this space? Because from my perspective, in this space is working based on looking at the latter and now looking at the former. You understand what I'm saying? And that is not to take away from the latter, but also recognizing, as Janet Jackson would say, you know what I mean? What have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? And so these are the bridges. But again, it's hard to have. I don't know why I said that or added that to the point, but oftentimes we can't have conversations that we need to have because people just simply don't want to have those conversations. So why can't we talk about it? So I ended up where I started, I guess. What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that? I mean, wrap it up, because I feel like I'm about to go someplace I don't want
to go. My thoughts are: we've pinpointed that that's a problem. We've pinpointed that it's a big problem. Now, what are we going to do about it? How can we help those closest to us and ourselves become better communicators so that you don't have the problem of people not feeling like they can talk, feeling like they'll be heard, or anything? How do we help it since we're calling it out?
I don't know. I don't know. See, I feel like that's honest. Even what I just said, I feel like I love what you said. You identified what we've been talking about. You identified it, right? I think that's good. But when you ask the question of how do we fix it, I think my honest answer today is I don't know. I don't know what the solution is in this moment, right? So even as we effectively communicate, sometimes we have to say, I don't have the answer right now. Maybe there isn't a solution for it right now. And is that okay? Or maybe you have the solution. But as I see it, all I can identify is these truths that I know to be true in this moment, but I'm still navigating solutions because at this point I don't know what the solutions are. And I think sometimes we try to find solutions when we're not really clear about what the solution is. And so I think I could rattle off a few things what I think we should be doing, but those again would just be guesses because I don't know what the answer is in this current moment around why can't we have authentic conversations and why can't we just simply talk about things without being angry, without leaving the room,
Without being angry.
without
Without leaving the room.
without becoming defensive, without withdrawing in
Yeah.
silence. See, a lot of times I know people are leaving before they
Which is
ever walk out
abuse.
the door. You understand what I'm saying? Because they get silent.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So so sometimes the first step is identifying and then acknowledging I don't have the answer to that in this moment. You know what I mean? Or at least I don't have the answer. I'm not saying there
I can
isn't
dig
an
it.
answer out there, but but I don't know. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I could dig it.
So you could dig it.
I am sorry there's a delay. I don't
No,
understand
you're good. You're
why.
good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I
I'm
could
I'm
dig
picking up what you're putting out.
it.
So I mean, right. I don't know what the answer is.
I'm
I
a
don't
70s
know what the
baby.
answer is. But I do know, but I will say this, we have to get to a place where we learn how to communicate, where we understand um, that we have to be receptive if we're going to be in community with one another to having these hard conversations, right? That we're learning to
You know, one
listen
of the
to.
easiest ways to do that for me to be able to learn how to listen is disconnecting from social media. So I think sometimes we need a break sometimes. So I'm gonna have to work something out
See,
because there's so many
we
distractions.
have to have a longer conversation around that. I think there's important moments to disconnect and to move away, right? Certainly Jesus moved away to have prayer. So I'm not opposed to moving away. I am in opposition to staying away. And what I mean by that is,
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer if we are going to impact lives, we have to come to a clear understanding. We have to be where people are. There was a day when we knocked on doors to make connections.
Yes.
That day is over. There was a
We
day
did that.
when we showed up in large spaces and we still and think I want people to really think about this. You know, there was a day when you could go to a concert, it cost you maybe $20-$25 to go to a concert, be in a room full of everybody. But think about now today. If you want to go see Beyonce and all of these other people, it's costing you thousands of dollars to be in a space with a whole bunch of people
That part.
for 2 hours. Thousands.
Mm-mm.
Not no chump change. Now my position
Re-
is
like seriously now. And then there's people going 2 or 3 times. God bless
thank you. Now my position is I can roll up on social media, get 15 minutes of it. You dig what I'm saying? Maybe pay a $5 subscription fee. You dig what I'm
Uninterrupted.
saying? Get access to all
Rewind
that
it. Fast forward.
Get access to all that content. You understand what I'm saying?
True.
And be dancing right here in my
Yeah.
dancing right here in my studio, having a good old time. My little $5 a month
Absolutely.
subscription. You dig?
Absolutely.
So
Yes, sir.
when I think about communicating, when I think about connecting with people, I certainly believe there are moments, to your point, when you have to pull away. But I think because we don't want to have these larger conversations or these deeper conversations, pulling away means to a lot of us staying away. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
Because
That is me. I am it. You just described me.
because we can't have those conversations.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I don't know.
sometimes you look around and you realize you're around a whole bunch of people who don't want to have those conversations. So
Okay,
yeah,
so I'm
that's when
gonna
I
end
guess
with
you
this.
come in. So you just gotta.
I'm gonna end with this. I'm gonna end with this. I'm gonna end with this. Carlton Pearson. Carlton Pearson just passed away. And I would argue that Carlton Pearson, his biggest mistake was he thought out loud. In other words, he began to think about some different things, some different understandings, some different ways about navigating this life and this world and this Christianity and all of these particular things. And because he thought out loud, it offended a whole lot of people. Now, if he would have kept it to himself, if he would have not been willing to communicate what he sensed to be true, navigating in his life in the moment, he still could have had his, the big old thing and all of those big old things. But he decided that he was going to actually communicate what he was thinking, what he was wrestling with. And so I don't want to argue, about what he thought or didn't think. But the point is, he dared to have a conversation with people who did not want to have a conversation about certain things. And in many respects,
Yeah.
based on what we think is valuable and what is true, and certainly in some of these spaces, he lost some of that because the very people who were celebrating him one moment did not want to hear or have any type of conversation. So they ostracized, kicked him to the side, and all of those particular things. And many of these folk
Yeah.
who did it were the very people who he helped elevate. You dig what I'm saying? And that's the point that I want to end on.
Absolutely.
That's the point that I want to end on. I'm so sick and tired of losing people simply because people don't want to have conversations, are not willing to have conversations. And so instead of having those conversations around the tough issues and the tough things and the complicated moments and the difficult moments, under this guise of protecting themselves and their, and all of this kind of thing, avoid talking, become defensive, walk out in anger. All of these things withdraw in silence simply because they're afraid to have the conversations about things that are uncomfortable for all of us. So I'll end where I started. Why can't we talk?
Yeah.
And so just imagine
Why can't we talk?
if he was able to have, or if we were able to have these conversations, these uncomfortable conversations with one another and navigate our way through them, instead of what we tend to do, separate ourselves from one another, how much better, in my mind, we all would be. Because personally, I'm tired of losing relationships with people, specifically over silly church stuff. because people don't want to talk about things that need to be talked about. And so I'll leave it there. You can add what you want to add on the back end.
He said what he said. Happy Wednesday.
No, good conversation on the night. Everybody, big up Leanna Winstead. Always give you the last word. Go ahead and give the last word on Wednesday. I know you want to bring it back and give people some
I
positive
hope that
energy and
everyone is
just love
well.
on them and just and just make them
Yeah,
feel so
that's
much
it.
better and all of
I
that
think
kind
this
of
whole
stuff.
conversation was super positive.
Yeah.
Whatever. I do. I want to encourage everybody. Again, happy anniversary to Sister Verlin. I apologize for the lag. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. It's just two people trying to figure some stuff out. I love you, and there's nothing you could do about it.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Let's go out this way, man. Shakira likes this song, and I wasn't hip to it, but now,
Uh-oh.
let's y'all let me know if you're feeling it. Here we go. Maybe you even know it, Leanna Winstead.
Here we go. I'm so happy you're here. It's been a long time since I had you near, my dear. Come on inside, get away from the cold wind that's blowing. I wanna let you know that I'm so glad you're here. I worry about you. I'm so glad you're here. And after all we've been through, I'm so glad you're here. It's good to see you, baby. I'm so glad you're here.
Y'all know what it is. It's Wade's Word of the Day. We're here every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday is Wellness Wednesday with my co-host Leanna Winstead. So grateful and thankful to each and every one of you who joined us on this evening. Yeah, we're so glad that you are here. Love you so much. Let's rock out a little bit more with Miss Macy. Yeah, so glad you're here. Make sure you get connected. Tap in. Put some on it. You can do that by looking at the various ways on the clip on the bottom. Talk to y'all real soon.
It's good to see you, baby. I'm so glad you're here. Well, now, ain't nothing changed. We're still hopeless together. Whoa, I wish you'd go away, but I'm doomed. If you stay, it's okay. I need you anyway. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. It's what my lover said. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And I'm so happy you're here. All right. Superstars, we're gonna try something.